Venus looks calm in the night sky. Bright, beautiful, almost peaceful. But beneath those glowing clouds lies the most hostile world in the solar system. A planet where the air can crush metal, the heat can melt lead, and acid storms swirl endlessly through the sky. And the strangest part? Scientists are still arguing about how Venus became this nightmare, because it may not have always been this way. Venus shouldn't be a nightmare. In fact, when scientists first began studying the inner solar system, Venus looked like it might be the most familiar world we had ever seen beyond Earth. From a distance, the similarities were striking. Venus is almost the same size as Earth. Its diameter is only about 5% smaller. Its gravity is incredibly close too. If you stood on Venus, you would weigh about 90% of what you weigh here on Earth. Even its location seemed promising. Venus orbits slightly closer to the Sun than Earth does, but not dramatically closer. In theory, that distance still falls within a region where liquid water could exist. Because of these similarities, early astronomers imagined something extraordinary. They believed Venus might be Earth's twin. A world hidden beneath thick clouds, possibly covered in oceans, maybe even filled with alien ecosystems. But there was one problem. No one could actually see the surface. The planet was completely sealed beneath a permanent blanket of clouds. Bright white layers of atmosphere reflected sunlight so strongly that Venus became the third brightest object in our sky after the Sun and the Moon. It looked almost peaceful, but appearances in space can be dangerously misleading. When the space age began in the mid-20th century, scientists finally had a way to peek beneath those clouds. Robotic probes and radar instruments were sent toward Venus, hoping to discover what kind of world was hiding underneath. What they found was nothing like the paradise people imagined. The surface of Venus turned out to be a wasteland of volcanic rock. Endless plains of hardened lava stretched across the planet. Massive shield volcanoes rose from the surface, some hundreds of kilometers wide. Deep fractures carved through the landscape like scars from ancient geological violence. This was not an ocean world. It was something far more hostile. And the real shock came when scientists measured the atmosphere. Venus doesn't have an atmosphere remotely similar to Earth's. Instead, the planet is wrapped in an enormous blanket of carbon dioxide, about 96% of the entire atmosphere. The remaining gases are mostly nitrogen, with traces of sulfur compounds that form thick, yellowish clouds. Those clouds are made of sulfuric acid. Yes, acid. High in the Venusian sky, tiny droplets of sulfuric acid swirl through the atmosphere in enormous storm systems. Winds scream around the planet at speeds faster than many hurricanes on Earth. And sometimes, those acid clouds even produce rain. But the rain never reaches the surface, because the lower atmosphere of Venus is so hot that the droplets evaporate long before they touch the ground. The result is a strange phenomenon scientists call virga, ghostly rain that falls from the clouds and disappears before it ever arrives. A storm that never reaches the surface. But even those acid clouds are not the most terrifying part of Venus. The real horror is the heat. The surface temperature of Venus averages about 465 degrees Celsius. To understand how extreme that is, consider this. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, yet its average temperature is still lower than Venus. Venus is hotter than Mercury, and the reason comes down to its atmosphere. The thick carbon dioxide surrounding the planet acts like an enormous thermal blanket. Heat from the Sun enters the atmosphere, but cannot escape back into space. Instead, it becomes trapped, building up year after year, century after century. The entire planet has essentially become a greenhouse that's spiraled out of control. But heat alone doesn't make Venus terrifying. The pressure does. Standing on the surface of Venus would feel like being nearly 1 kilometer underwater on Earth. The atmosphere presses down with 92 times the pressure we experience at sea level. That kind of pressure can crush equipment, deform metal, and destroy electronics in a very short time. And we know this not just from theory, but from experience. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union launched a series of spacecraft known as the Venera missions. Several of these probes successfully landed on the surface of Venus and transmitted images back to Earth. Those images revealed a landscape of broken rock and orange skies beneath a thick, suffocating atmosphere. But the spacecraft didn't last long. The longest surviving probe, Venera 13, managed to operate for 127 minutes before the planet destroyed it. Just over 2 hours. The extreme heat slowly cooked the electronics. The crushing pressure strained the machinery until it finally failed. Venus had claimed another visitor. And yet, despite how hostile the planet appears today, scientists began noticing something strange about its surface. Radar maps of Venus revealed that most of the planet looks surprisingly young. Geologically young. Large areas of the surface appear to have formed within the last 500 million years, which is incredibly recent on a planetary timescale. That discovery suggested something astonishing. Venus may not be a dead planet. Instead, it may still be geologically active, with volcanoes that continue to reshape its surface. In fact, recent analysis of spacecraft data has revealed something even more startling. Scientists have found direct evidence that lava flows on Venus are still changing today. Which means beneath the crushing atmosphere and burning surface, the planet may still be alive with volcanic energy. Venus isn't just a relic of the past. It's still evolving, still reshaping itself, still breathing fire. But the biggest mystery about Venus is not what it is today. It's how it became this way. Because when scientists began reconstructing the planet's ancient history, they realized there are two competing possibilities. One theory suggests Venus once had oceans, vast bodies of liquid water that slowly vanished as the planet overheated. But another theory suggests something even stranger. That Venus may have been born as a hellish world from the very beginning, too hot for oceans to ever form at all. Two completely different histories. Two completely different origins. And solving that mystery may reveal something deeply unsettling about planets like our own. Because if a world so similar to Earth could transform into this, what does that mean for the fragile balance that keeps our planet alive today? For a long time, scientists believed Venus was a dead world, a planet that had suffered its catastrophe billions of years ago and then simply froze in time, a burned-out relic of a runaway greenhouse disaster. But new research has begun to tell a very different story. Venus might not be a graveyard. It might still be alive. And the evidence comes from something scientists discovered while studying old spacecraft data. In the early 1990s, NASA's Magellan spacecraft orbited Venus and used radar to map almost the entire planet's surface. Because the thick clouds hide the ground from normal cameras, radar waves were used to penetrate the atmosphere and reveal the landscape below. Magellan produced the most detailed maps of Venus ever created. For decades, scientists believed those images showed a planet frozen in geological time. But recently, researchers decided to take another look at the old data. And that's when they noticed something strange. In one region of Venus called Mont Mons, scientists compared radar images taken months apart during Magellan's mission. At first glance, the images seemed identical. But when they examined them closely, something had changed. A volcanic vent that once appeared small had grown significantly larger. The surrounding landscape also looked different, as if lava had flowed across the surface between the two images. It was subtle, but the change was real. The most likely explanation was extraordinary. Venus had experienced a volcanic eruption while the spacecraft was watching. For the first time, scientists had direct evidence that volcanoes on Venus are still active. The planet wasn't just a relic of ancient disasters. It was still reshaping itself, still releasing heat from deep within its interior. And that discovery transformed how scientists think about Venus today. Because active volcanoes mean the planet still contains enormous internal energy. Beneath the crushing atmosphere and blistering surface, molten rock may still be moving through the planet's interior. And where heat and chemistry interact, strange possibilities can emerge. But the volcanic activity also connects to the larger mystery of Venus's past. Remember the question scientists are still trying to answer. Did Venus once have oceans? Or was it always this hostile? If Venus once held oceans, then its volcanic activity may have played a role in destroying them. Massive eruptions could have pumped enormous quantities of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, accelerating the runaway greenhouse effect that transformed the planet. But if Venus was always dry, then its story becomes even more unsettling. Because it means two planets, Earth and Venus, formed under nearly identical conditions, yet ended up on completely different paths. One became a world filled with oceans, life, and breathable air. The other became a furnace. Understanding why those paths diverged is one of the most important questions in planetary science. And scientists are preparing to investigate Venus more closely than ever before. In the coming decades, new missions will return to the planet. NASA's Da Vinci mission will send a probe plunging through Venus's thick atmosphere, measuring its chemistry layer by layer as it descends toward the surface. Another mission, Veritas, will orbit the planet and create even more detailed radar maps than Magellan ever produced. Scientists hope these maps will reveal signs of active volcanoes, shifting landscapes, and perhaps clues about Venus's ancient history. Together, these missions could finally answer one of the biggest mysteries in the solar system. How did Venus become the most terrifying planet near Earth? Because Venus is more than just a hostile world. It's a warning written in planetary history. A reminder that climates can change, atmospheres can collapse, and worlds can transform in ways that seem impossible. Today, Venus glows brilliantly in our evening sky. From Earth, it looks calm, beautiful, almost peaceful. But beneath those bright clouds lies a world where acid swirls through the sky, volcanoes reshape the surface, and temperatures remain hot enough to melt metal. A planet that may once have looked a lot like Earth. And that possibility is what makes Venus truly terrifying. Because when we look at Venus, we may be seeing what happens when a planet crosses a point of no return. Venus is often called Earth's twin. But if that's true, it's the darkest version of that reflection. A world where oceans vanished, the atmosphere turned toxic, and heat spiraled beyond control. Yet despite everything we've learned, Venus still holds secrets. We don't know for certain whether it once had oceans or whether it was born as a furnace from the very beginning. We don't know how active its volcanoes truly are. And we still don't fully understand the chain of events that turned this planet into the most hostile world in the inner solar system. But new missions are on the way. And when they arrive, they may finally reveal the full story of Earth's mysterious twin. If you enjoyed exploring the terrifying secrets of Venus, make sure to subscribe. Because the universe is filled with worlds far stranger than we ever imagined. And we're only just beginning to uncover their stories.